Welcome to the second part of the tutorial about the Flexi Loop power calculation. In this part we will have a look at the power calculation tool, which is integrated in the Flexi Soft Designer from version 1.7 onwards. If you haven't downloaded the latest version yet, you can do this for free on sig.com/flexisoft. The power calculation tool helps you deciding if you need a power injector for your cascade by calculating the input voltage as well as the currents. Moreover, it helps you to determine where in your loop you can place the injector to achieve the best results considering your machine's circumstances. To use the tool, you first have to configure your hardware, including the nodes with all the elements. In this example, I'm going to use our demo board configuration, as created throughout the previous videos about Flexi Loop. The power calculator is opened via this button here. To go back to the node configuration window, you simply click on this button. In the upper part of the new window, you see the general settings for your loop, the ambient temperature and the input voltage. The input current and the section length will be calculated as soon as you have entered all necessary parameters. This leads us to the next step in the process. Beneath the cascade properties, you see every Flexi Loop module which you have added to your cascade, along with the sensors and actuators connected to it. By clicking on the little plus sign, you open the settings for the corresponding module. Here you need to define all the cables which you use in your cascade. You can either select one of the given cables from our SIG portfolio with a fixed length and a diameter, or you just enter your values manually. If you use one of our cables, they will be added automatically to the bill of material in your report. This makes it very easy for you to see which parts are required for your installation, as they will be listed with their corresponding part number. However, even your custom cables are listed in the bill of material, so you won't forget them later on. In the next step, you have to enter the current consumption of the connected sensors and actuators. Additionally, you can specify the voltage range according to the accepted values of your sensors or actuators. You can see how the scale changes if you do so. Just repeat those steps for every module. At the end, press the calculate button. Now you can see the voltage and current value of every module, as well as for all sensors and actuators. And in our example, everything works perfectly. But we are now going to change some parameters to simulate a different situation. To increase the voltage drop, we could for example increase the cable length, the ambient temperature, or the current consumption of some sensors. If I now drastically increase the length of several cables and then press the calculate button again, you can see that only the first two nodes are within the acceptable voltage range, which means all other devices are not sufficiently supplied with voltage and won't function properly. Therefore, we now need a power injector to fix this problem. To add it, we switch back to the node configuration area. Here we can add accessories in the same way as every Flexi Loop node, via drag and drop. I'm going to put the node right before the first node, which has not enough voltage. Then I switch back to the power calculator. One thing we have to do before we can calculate again is to specify the cables for the power injector. After that, with a click on calculate, we see the new power status. The input voltage has been refreshed after the power node, whereas the total current has been separated according to the two sections. This is exactly what we wanted to achieve. Now our system is operational again. However, before we end this tutorial, I would like to simulate another scenario. Assuming that it is not possible to place the power injector at this position due to the circumstances of your machine, let us try to place the power injector one node after the current position. As you can see, it still works even though the injector is now behind the first node, which needed more voltage. This is because of the galvanic isolation of the two sections provided by the power injector. Even if we move it one position to the right, it still works. Okay, there's one more feature I'd like to show you. It is also possible to check the actual voltage value of all Flexi Loop modules within the cascade. You just need to connect your physical station with the Flexi Soft Designer. Then enter a Nodes property window by right-clicking the module in the Flexi Loop configuration area. At first, you need to navigate to the tab BOM Info, and if you click on the Read button, the actual voltage is displayed. Now you can verify your calculation by reading the actual voltage from every module, including the terminating element, which is especially significant because it is the end of the cascade. Please consider the calculated values represent a worst case scenario, so in any case the actual values shouldn't exceed them. Okay, that's the end of the tutorials about the power calculation of Flexi Loop. Summing up, it is very important that you get familiar with the power concept and the use of the power calculator. Then you are able to find the perfect solution for your own power configuration, especially if you have more than one power injector in your cascade.